What's going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the WNBA Layup session for Sunday, July 27th, 2025. If you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. Let me know your WNBA picks in the comment section below. If you're looking for my best bets, you can head to Pickdawgz.com. Click the Experts tab at the top of the page. There's a lot of action going on today. For me, I got my WNBA Play of the Week. I'm still trying to decide if I might get the Play of the Month, because I really do have a play that I like. I am filming this before I put that in and put that up for sale, so we'll have to see, but that will be my standalone play from the WNBA. I'm also going to have my $19 MLB pickoff play and my MLB 5-pack for Sunday. We're hitting at 60% in the in Major League Baseball over the last 4 days, so make sure that you check that out. Still up over 800 units, you're up $800, $100 bets over the last 30 days. We're showing some profit there, and you're running out of time to hop on Christmas in July. It's the best time of the year. You can get a yearly pass for, I think it's less than $75 a month, and you're going to get everything: NFL, college football, college basketball, NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball, up until this point next season as well. So make sure that you jump on board. Let's make you some money, and you can even get an extra 15% off if you use the promo code PICK at checkout. But we're here to talk about a 5-game WNBA card for Sunday's action. The layup session was missing for a little bit. I'm back bringing it to you today. We're going to be covering it for these bigger cards. But as we're starting to ramp back up towards football, we're going to have to see, the layup session will be few and far. I don't want to say few and far between, but just keep your eyes peeled for them. We're going to still cover WNBA on the morning shows every single day too. We have written content at both Sports Chat Plays and Pick Dawgz. But like I said, we're here to talk about the 5 games on the board. Let's not waste any more time. Let's make some money. You guys know the drill. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. Our first game takes us to the Mohegan Sun Arena, where the Golden State Valkyries are paying a visit to the Connecticut Sun. And, the Connecticut Sun, home underdogs, it's been a decent spot for them in a couple of recent outings. This is a team that covered against Indiana, covered against Seattle. But for me, there's a line between covering, catching 15, 16.5 points, and catching 5.5. Now, interestingly enough, this is going to be the first time in Golden State Valkyries team history where they've actually been a road favorite. All the games they've played on the road this season, they've been road dogs, and they've had a decent amount of success on the road. Still 3-8 straight up, but a fair number of covers. The problem is, like I said, the majority of those, actually I shouldn't say the majority, all those have been as underdogs. But the problem for Connecticut is that this team just continues to find new and creative ways to lose. And, as much as I thought the Valkyries were going to struggle losing Kayla Thornton for the year, the fact of the matter is they still have a lot of depth within this team. They're still well coached under Natalie Nakase. And, they're still a decent basketball team. The Connecticut Sun, I thought getting Marina Mabrey back would help this team. It didn't. They went ahead and got throttled by the Los Angeles Sparks. I'm just in a position where I think I need more points to consider the Connecticut Sun, even as a home dog here. Like I said, I know laying points on the road with the Valkyries is not ideal, but they have already beaten the Sun by 24 points earlier this year. So I'm going to lay the points with the Valkyries. But if you're kind of looking to just capitalize on the Valkyries here, I would go with the Valkyries team total over 80.5 as well. The Connecticut Sun have allowed 81 plus points in 12 of their last 13 games. This is just a horrendous defensive unit. And I think that the Valkyries could get over at least that number on their own. I don't know if I love the full game over, because nothing's to say that the Sun can't get held to 65 points. All of a sudden you see like an 80-65 game. It's just a beat down, but then you're stuck at 145 points. 155.5 does seem a little bit low, but I think it is that low for a reason. That's why I want to just isolate to the Valkyries here. So give me the Valkyries laying the 5.5 and the Valks team total over 80.5 in this one. Now we head to the Wintrust Arena for a matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky. And, the Chicago Sky catching points as a home underdog on the surface at full strength, or at least at semi-full strength, is still tempting, because, this is still a Sky team that has names on it like Angel Reese, Ariel Atkins. But I mentioned and basically verbally underlined at full strength because the Sky are not that. Ariel Atkins out for this game. It looks like she's still going to continue to be out for the next little bit, as she's dealing with a leg injury. Angel Reese is day to day. She's listed as questionable for this game, but we've seen with when this Sky team are missing pieces like Atkins and Reese, they are getting absolutely crushed, and I need to see confirmation that Angel Reese is back in the lineup before I really feel any sort of comfort backing the Chicago Sky catching points. We've seen since the Minnesota Lynx game where the Sky still lost by double digits, when Ariel Atkins went out, we've seen losses by 37, 23, and 38, where they've scored 49, 68, and 57 points. Looking like the Sky from early on in this season that really just didn't know which way was up and just really couldn't get, pardon my French, but couldn't get their shit together. And, now with them out, it makes it extremely hard. Now, granted, Angel Reese, I think, was the backbone of the sort of resurgence of the Sky, as they started to win some games and go on a nice little run of covers, in late June, early July. And if she comes back, that'll help. But we've also seen that Atkins, who went off in the game that the Sky won outright, at home against the Minnesota Lynx back on July 12th, she went out at the half against the Lynx in the rematch. And then when she was out, when she had just left the game, it was a 2-point game at the half, and then all of a sudden, the ball just started rolling downhill in the second half, and the Lynx won that game by double digits. The Fever, they're missing Caitlin Clark, and now you have the wrinkle for Caitlin Clark that she could be out for a significant amount of time. There's no timetable for her return. However, they're still well coached by Stephanie White, and I still think that this Indiana Fever team can have a little bit more comfort now, not having to look over their shoulders like, well, when is Caitlin Clark going to come? Like, when's Caitlin coming back? Are we going to have to, go with or without her? Now they know it's on them. So I think that we'll get a concerted effort here from the Fever. I think now, you can focus on names like Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Sophie Cunningham starting to take over. And I think the Fever get the job done here. I just feel a lot more comfortable laying points with the Fever in this spot. And just if the Sky get Angel Reese back, so be it. But I'm going to roll with the Fever laying the points in this one. Now we're going to the College Park Center where the Las Vegas Aces pay a visit to the Dallas Wings. And this is one of the trickier games on the board for me on Sunday's card because you have the Las Vegas Aces who could very well rival the Los Angeles Sparks as the most disappointing or underwhelming team in WNBA this season. And a 31-point loss in Minnesota does not, shake any sort of notion of that. You had Asia Wilson put up 15 points. Jackie Young scored 14, but everyone else was held within single digits. Jewel Lloyd went 0 for 10 from the floor. It was just not a good look for the Las Vegas Aces, and it hasn't been. But you have the Dallas Wings who are resting Paige Beckers for this game. She has been a key piece for this Dallas Wings team, obviously averaging 18.1 points per game this season. When she is not on the floor, when she's been off the court this season, the offensive rating drops by about 3.8 points per 100 possessions. The offensive rebounding percentage against teams are grabbing over 5% more offensive rebounds without Paige Beckers on the floor when they're playing Dallas. So everything gets affected when Paige is out of the lineup. Now, Arike's still going to be there. You still got Dejanay Carrington, but you also have what I feel is just a pissed off Aces team that knows they are better than what they have put out for much of the season. That still has quality in that lineup. Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Asia Wilson, Jewel Lloyd, and the rest of the rotation players that were just humiliated in what was probably viewed by many people to be a bit of a marquee headliner spot in a potential playoff preview. Would it surprise anyone with the talent that's on both these teams if the Aces and Lynx didn't meet somewhere in the playoffs? It wouldn't surprise me. And to get your teeth kicked in like that, allow 109 points and lose by 31, I think has to piss off the Aces a little bit. I think Becky Hammon's got to be just annoyed at some and just say and draw the line and say enough is enough at some point. And the Wings at the best of times this season have still been a below average defensive unit. Maybe not the worst, but certainly not the best. I just think that no Paige in the lineup, I think, is going to hurt here. If the Aces play to their full potential, they could easily win this game by double digits. That's why I'm leaning towards the Aces here, laying the points. Do I love it? Absolutely not. Probably a game that I'm going nowhere near. Probably out of 5 games, is probably my 5th on the card in terms of, games that I like. I would much rather just settle in and watch this game as a fan, just to sort of see if the Aces can actually get it done. So lean for me towards the Aces, but one I'm definitely not rushing to the window to bet. Now we head to the Care First Arena, where the Phoenix Mercury take on the Washington Mystics. And this is another tricky matchup for me, because I thought I had the Mystics figured out. To where I thought this was a team that just beats up on the bad teams, struggles against the good teams. But then you've started to see a bit of a flip of the switch, where it's kind of gone the other way, to where they've beaten teams like Minnesota at home. They beat the Aces at home. And now they beat the Seattle Storm at home, who've still been a decent team. Again, now I go back to it, not a team that really strikes any fear into me. And the Phoenix Mercury are a team that, look at their 3 losses in this losing streak that they've been on. Losses to Minnesota, Atlanta, and New York. Teams that the Phoenix Mercury could very well meet down the road in the postseason. Now, I've been a big fan of the Phoenix Mercury this season, and this is the healthiest that this team has been. They've got Satu Sabali back. They've got Alyssa Thomas in the fold. They have a clean injury report. They've got Kalia Copper back. But that didn't stop them from getting their teeth kicked in last time out. And my concern now is that even though the Mystics are on the second half of a back-to-back here, that flip has kind of taken over. And this is still a Mystics team that's 8-4 straight up at home this season. Like I said, with a win over, the Minnesota Lynx and a win over the Atlanta Dream. And, they've been just a solid team to back, to where I think that even if the Mercury win this game, I could see the Mercury winning this game by 4, maybe 5 points. I think the Mystics could keep this one respectable, and maybe they have a shot at winning this one outright. With the way that underdogs have been winning outright in the WNBA over the last month and a half, it wouldn't shock me here. So I'm going to lean towards the Mystics here, plus the 7 points in this one. Now we head to the Target Center for our final game on Sunday's card, where the Dream pay a visit to the Minnesota Lynx. And for me, simply put, there's just certain things you don't do in life. You don't spit in the wind, you don't eat yellow snow, you don't tug on Superman's cape, and you don't bet against the Minnesota Lynx at home. This is still a very solid Lynx team. That's, for me, still the best team in the WNBA, and they've really just, beat up on all comers at home. And admittedly, the Atlanta Dream are still better, defensively without Ryan Howard. But when you don't have Ryan Howard, that's still taken out 16 points per game out of the lineup. And right now, Howard's going to be missing at least the next couple games. It looks like the Dream are going to update Howard's timetable for a return at the end of the month. But we've just seen so many teams go into Minnesota and struggle. And I just think that this game is honestly going to be no different. I'm going to roll with the Minnesota Lynx at home in this one, laying the big number to round out the card on Sunday. That's it. That's all the WNBA action for Sunday, July 27th, 2025. Again, if you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. Let me know your WNBA picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, you can head to pickdawgz.com, click that premium picks tab, the experts tab at the top of the page. And like I said, make sure you hop on something. Christmas in July, it's a great time to do so. There's still plenty of money to be made today. So let's make it a winning day. Jump on with me at Pickdawgz Premium. Let's cash some winners. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys.